Beautiful, perfectly natural line clouds. Yep, totally natural shapes and lines. Oh yeah. How you guys doing? It's awesome to be out here today. It's nice and sunny and not too many clouds, just a bunch of special line clouds, if you know what I'm saying. It's crazy. Don't have anything normal these days, but I was talking to some people last night, and Jason and someone else. Sorry, I forgot your name. But it kind of prompted me. You know, I thought about making a video about this type of topics, but I just want to start off by saying God has been awesome to me and my family. I'm in need of nothing, but the Lord has always provided, okay? But I just kind of want to share with you guys, because I know that what's going on with the whole jab nation and everything, you know, that with the whole, you know, use it or lose it type deal with occupations. And so I just kind of wanted to share a little bit about how awesome God is, and try to encourage you to know that He will always provide. Sometimes, you know, it's down to the wire, and but He always does. He has always come through without fail. He is so merciful. But let me just kind of get started. Before I was born again, when the very first time that I heard the Lord speak to me, right, which kind of prompted everything, and the fear of God fell on me, I had one of those kind of walk away from everything that you know kind of moments, right? So I walked away from my career in information technology. I had gotten pretty far in it, especially coming through the military avenue of it. And you know, it was such a blessing in disguise. But when I walked away, right, I had no safety net at all. And God just continually provided, you know, and I was like, wow, you know, and I actually got unemployment walking away from my career. And in a moment, you know, I got it in such a way that you know it's God, right? Because they don't just give you that for walking away. And that sustained me for a long time. And it was crazy. We were about to run out, right? And this is about, at this point, we're looking at about 2 years and some change ago when it was running out. And I was like, well, how am I going to do it financially? You know, if you know anything about how demanding the job market is, if you're out of work for a certain amount of time and you have a certain amount of gap in your resume, and I was all about the world, guys, and career, and no gaps in my education and my resume, you know, the usual things that people do. And, you know, I'm not trying to attack people who love that stuff, although I don't think you should love it like that, you know what I mean? It's just, it has its place, but God had called me in a different direction, and this was still a little bit prior to me being born again. I always prayed, you know, I always had a relationship in a sense with God, you know, I always talked to Him. Of course, things were mostly on my terms, right? At least in my mind back in those early days, you know, like J.D. Farrick says, don't look at me all spiritual like that. You know, I'm just being honest, guys. You know, it's one thing I will always be is 100% honest, and the things I've done are crazy, but God has been faithful the entire time. And so I go and I'm like, man, I have 1 week more of unemployment, and I had been looking for jobs for about a couple months prior to that, but nothing was working out. And So I applied to this place, and they gave me a call back. And ironically, it was a German-based company, and my last name, Pels, is German. And so it was like, wow, that's crazy how God uses things like that, right? So I go there, and oh man, it was probably the most interesting interview I've ever had. Definitely the most highest paying job I've ever had. And it was crazy, like I was working in an upper level of IT, so we had a big whiteboard out, we're sitting there doing, routing formulas and stuff like that. And so there was like this really involved test, right? And the guy was like, you know what? He's like, I have a bunch of interviews left, but he's like, but I'm giving you the job. And I was like, oh, and it was crazy because as my unemployment ran out, I got my first salary check, right? Amazing, right? And I had made quite a bit of money there in a short amount of time. It was really, like I said, it was really good money, but I started really being afflicted. When I have complex PTSD from situations in early life, military, coming out of the military, and a lot has happened to my tent, and it was all catching up to me, because at this point, I was no longer running to drugs. I was not yet born again, but I wasn't self-medicating or anything like that, and it was just hitting me so hard. And I know it sounds crazy, right? But I was praying every single day, even brought a Bible into work and stuff, and I was reading scriptures all the time on lunch, and this place was pretty epic, guys. They had, for an IT standpoint, Microsoft had a headquarters there. We had Facebook and all kinds of places where we built giant server stacks and stuff, and just really cool opportunity. Like, if I was still in that career mentality, the sky would have been the limit at that point, and I was just like, I don't know how to explain it, but I just felt like I just felt it in my spirit, like, is this what you want? Is this what you really want? And I was like, no, it's not what I really want. And I just walked away. And some people, especially my family, would never understand. Not my immediate family, like, I'm talking about, like, parents and stuff like that, siblings and whatnot. No one understands. Because the whole world is geared based off of money and everything else like that, and how much success you have. And, in the world's eyes, that was like a pinnacle, but I just didn't want it, I want the Lord. And it was very shortly after that I became born again. A day I will never forget. But this isn't about my testimony of being born again, but it was awesome. That was February 17th of 2019. And God has always provided. I got seen, medically evaluated, and I got complex PTSD diagnosis, anxiety disorders. Man, I had like a duffel bag of medicine, guys, and I was like, well, some of the medicines I felt immediately in my spirit, God was like, no. So I didn't take them. But, I'm not on any medicine now for that PTSD and the complex anxiety. But my body, my tent, is not what it used to be. And I had to be able to take breaks when I need to take breaks. I've wrecked my body from drugs and overdoses, and so and cognitively I'm still there, but it's like physically my body just can't do what I used to do, especially like when I was younger in the military and stuff like that. And so working, I've tried, and it's hard for people to understand because they're not me, and It's hard to explain that to someone, because on the outside, everything looks okay, but unless you've worked with me, and then you can see the effects on my body and like how my body physically reacts. It's not good. So I've basically had to work for myself, be my own boss, So something cool came out of this, because I've already managed things in my life, but I can still do things. But like I said, I have to take breaks when I need to take breaks, and just most companies won't let you do that. And but I work on cars. I'm kind of like a handyman, because I've done everything from IT to car work and stuff. Primarily focusing on the automotive side now, and just God's just whenever the bank account is almost out and we have needs, right? And God knows, and this is how my life has been, guys, for the last 2.25 years now. And according to the world's eyes, I am a very poor man. I don't have my own house. Legally considered homeless. Not necessarily homeless, because I do have places where I can sleep, me and my family. God's been very graceful and took care of us. But it's just the faithfulness of God. But God, through it all, He's provided. When we're running low on resources, it's like, a job will come out of nowhere. And just the other day, money was getting real tight and we were almost out. And I was just like, I'm so far beyond worrying, because over this time, God has shown me His faithfulness, and it was amazing, guys. Because I'm working for myself in these jobs, and how the money comes in at different times when people pay it, right? But I'm not a money hustler, I'm not a loan shark. I don't go beating on people's doors and stuff like that. And it's just amazing to see how God has been so gracious to me, because when I really need the money and we're almost out, it's like literally down to the last few dollars in the account. No expectation on when the next money is going to come in. And I check my account, boom, there's money in there. And I'm just like, God, you are so good. So I just wanted to try to encourage you guys that although, yes, times are hard and I'm living in it, but it's at the same time not hard, because I have the grace of God with me every day, providing for me and my family, keeping a roof over our heads, providing food for our stomachs and clothes on our back. I could, even though I don't have anything like I used to have when I, was rich in the sense of the world standards, but I am so much in a better position, not only mentally, but spiritually. And it's just, the Lord has used this to drive me so close to Him. And I would never trade that for any amount of money, for any job, for anything, period. God is the greatest treasure in that relationship that we have. And it's just so amazing. And I just want to encourage you guys. I just really hope, and the reason why I've never made a video like this, because I don't want people to sit there and be like, oh, that guy, poor, I'm great. God has taken care of me, guys. He's been faithful and good to me my whole life. Even when I rejected Him, He never rejected me, ever. And if He can take care of someone like me so effortlessly, He can take care of you and your family. Don't worry. Keep the faith. Keep looking to Him. He will provide. He always does. And let me tell you, you're going to have to get used to waiting to the last seconds, because God always provides when it's needed. And sometimes our brains, we think we need it like yesterday, but in all reality, God's like, no, now. And we're like, ah. But every time, it's just like, whoa, like, man, God pulled through again, and not that he never does, does not do it, but it's just amazing to see. And it's been a blessing, an absolute blessing. And I just love you guys. I just wanted to share that, and I hope it's been a blessing to you to know how faithful God is to us. And sometimes it's easier to see through testimonies of God's goodness, and then we can start kind of looking at our own life and just really look back on the patterns of his goodness. Yeah. Well, I love you. God bless. See you later.